Yo, what's up there, YouTube? This is What a Doozy 1929 here, welcoming you to another episode of GT Autos. Things have changed a lot for the show, and I hope you like our new intro. And it's a really good intro. Didn't take me very long to make it, but it's a decent one. So there's gonna be a lot of changes. So you're gonna start noticing them very soon. So let's get started with the first car of today, and this is a wonderful car. I like it, and this is the Willard Faction. The Faction is a really nice car. It's based off the 1982-1987 Buick Grand National Regal. Now, before I get started, here I go with my precautionary moment, like we do on all our episodes, like I do in all my shows. I'll give you facts, I'll give you history, I'll give you a lot of information about the cars that I talk about on this show. Now, all my stuff is going to be 100% accurate, so please do not leave any rude comments on the comment list saying that this was fake and I was being rude, wrong, and I'm everything. No, because I already warned you ahead of time. So let's get started. The Faction is based off, again, the 82 to 87 Buick Grand National Regal. The Grand National Regal was probably Buick's flagship car back in the 80s, because you got to think of it. The Buick Grand National Regal was just the one-off. The Grand National package for a Regal, it was a special package. I mean, an average Regal, yeah, just an average Regal. But this is not your average everyday Regal. This is a turbocharged V6 Regal that basically can propel you from 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds. This thing was really quick back in the day. Now, at a base price around, I think it was around, what was the base price? The base price of this car was around $20,000, if I'm correct. And that was around, I'll say that's around almost $40,000 in today's market due to inflation. But this was quite expensive back in the day. So, this is not Grandpa's Regal, just to give you a heads up. And who is messaging me? Alrighty. Sorry about that. This thing, like I said, again, it has a turbocharged V6. And this is kind of special. It's rear-wheel drive, too. Right around the 80s, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, they were starting to change a bit. It was all about adding catalytic converters and fuel injection to their cars to reduce fuel emissions and increase fuel mileage rating. And things with big V8s and stuff like that were starting to phase out. Nobody wanted a big gas guzzling V8. And so what they started doing is putting these fuel injectors and these catalytic converters and getting rid of the carburetors to fix the emissions things and the gas crisis and everything. And yes, that was a huge crucial hit for the American car market, because we were just so used to putting V8s and everything. And that's when to me, I think the 80s is right when the downfall of American auto manufacturers, because things just weren't the same as they were back in the day. So the Grand National Regal, it was just a one-off. It was special. It had a turbocharged V6. It was rear-wheel drive. And that was kind of big because not a lot of rear-wheel drive cars were being made back in the 80s. General Motors and all the other car companies, they were starting to turn away from rear-wheel drive and started focusing more on front-wheel driven cars. So this car was rear-wheel driven and has a turbocharged V6. That is really cool for this kind of car. 0 to 60 was, again, 6.1 seconds. This was very fast back in the 80s. Today, that's nothing, but back then, that was really something. So, this was a very special car, and it only came in black. This car came with the Buick, the Grand National package came with the black paint job, the black on gray interior, with the special black triple shield horn button, and it basically came, of course, with the iconic turbocharger. So those are the things you got to look into when you're looking for a Grand National Regal, but there's other stuff that you need to figure out, because lots of people, the car is so popular that people start making they start making their own Grand National packages. Like, they'll take regular average Regals, they'll stick a turbocharger on it, and it'll just give it basically a Regal package. You need to really watch out for stuff like that. So basically, if you're looking for one, really pay attention to the key factors of what General Motors would do to a factory made Grand National. So let's get started with the the Faction. The Faction is a cool car. There's no questions saying that this car is not cool. It's from the 80s. It's pretty quick, and it's only been in 2 games. It's only been in Grand Theft Auto 4 and the Grand Theft Auto 5. And it just made it to Grand Theft Auto 5 in the Lowrider update. So this car was just really just a cool car when it made its first appearance in Grand Theft Auto 4. Along with its counterpart, the Sabre, these 2 cars were really powerful. And the Sabre these 2 cars were basically the same. They were very fast, they were very cool looking, and they were just really nice cars. Now, I wish the Sabre would come back, the classic Sabre from the 80s. I wish that would make it back instead of the Sabre Turbo. I really would like to see the Faction have some competition with that kind of car. But the Faction stands for basically different sections of government, basically. So I don't know how that deals with the cars that it's based off of, but that's just basically what Faction stands for. 0 to 60 of the Faction is around 4.42 seconds, and this is a really quick car. There's no lie, this car is really quick. Now it's the least expensive. This car is valued literally at $36,000. $36,000 is really affordable for this kind of car, because if you look at most of the high-end muscle cars like the Coquette Blackfin and the what's that, the Tampa, these cars are really going skyrocket high with the price tags. The Faction is just a measly $30,000, which is really in the affordable mark for a lot of people, and that's what I like about this car. Now, this car can be customized at Benny's as a lowrider, and the donk, which to me is the stupidest car I've ever seen in my life, the donk. I don't know who decided to make the Faction a donk, but whoever did, they need to get shot, because that was the stupidest idea they ever did to this car. So basically, this car, it can be customized at Benny's. There's a lot of cool stuff for it. Now, it's not a lot of major cool stuff, change the headlight shape and everything. No, it's just basic stuff to make this car really nice. So basically, it's just a nice car. Scale of 1 to 10, I have to give it a 10 in coolness. Scale of 1 to 10 with performance, I'm gonna have to give it a 7, because it's not a very fast muscle car. Charisma, appeal, and sophistication, I'll have to give it an 8. No, I'm gonna have to give it a 10, because number one, I love the interior in this car. This interior in this car matches the 1980s. You look at the interior, and I bet you want, no, this doesn't match. No, yeah, it does match. This car, if you look at the interior, most of the performance 80s cars had T-tops. This car has T-tops. The thing with 80s cars is they're all about computers and stuff like that. Things are starting to get highly technological with these cars. When you look at the radio, that's a strict 80s radio. That's not a new radio. That's an 80s radio with the classic black and green digital clock and everything. That's an 80s interior. And the style of the AC vents, this is strictly 80s. So I love how Rockstar put this detail into the car. This is one car that I really love, that Rockstar really did well on. It's really affordable, it's really nice, it just fits every freaking car nuts in criteria of car that they will want, and I love this car. This is What a Doozy 1929 here, signing off with the Willard Faction. I'll see you guys later.